Hi guys, so I had a great time coaching you guys at the last Bukit Puchong Marathon Running Clinic. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys got something out of it. Here are some of the things that I covered. The first thing that I covered was actually on your foot landing techniques. People always talk about forefoot landing, midfoot, heel strike, that sort of stuff. And most of the time people don't know whether or not that is good for them, because you have to try a few times before you know whether it's good for them. One of the things I covered was, yes, it is advisable to try and get that mid to forefoot landing. But of course, this is something that you cannot get overnight. You cannot learn it overnight. It has to be gradual. And there are some people who are not as flexible in changing these running techniques of theirs. So I actually talked about how we can actually tackle it if you can't change straight away. One of the things that I find helps is to try and land your foot right underneath your body weight. So if you're standing up straight and when you're running, you want to land your foot right underneath your body weight. So how do we know whether we're overstriding or landing right underneath our body weight? If the sun is high up in the sky at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you want to make sure that your shadow is just a small circle under you and you do not have one extra forefoot landing right ahead of you. Alright, so that's one way to tackle landing right underneath your body weight. That will definitely ensure that you land forefoot right. So the second thing that I talked about was actually breathing. People always ask me, Karen, how do you breathe? How do you breathe for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours of running? Well, it is going to be quite hard if I tell you to breathe a certain way for the whole duration of the marathon. I always tell people, just breathe as comfortably as possible. There's no right or wrong way. You know the way to breathe. If I were to tell you to breathe 2 steps, breathe in, 2 steps, breathe out, trust me, by 10 kilometers in, you're gonna forget it. So that's what I told everybody last week as well. One good thing about it is one good technique that you can put into your run is to do a deep belly breath. Okay, so this is how you do it. Around 45 minutes or 60 minutes into your run, you take a deep inhale all the way down to your belly and exhale everything out. I do this every maybe about 10 km or so, and that helps me feel refreshed, re-energized, rejuvenated. I think it's because it gives me more oxygen. It helps circulate the blood even better around to my muscles, and so that helps me run a little bit better in the next 10 kilometers. So you can try that as well. Now the final thing I covered is actually on pace. We all know that this is long distance running and we don't want to just shoot off really fast from the very beginning. We have to pace ourselves, but how do we pace ourselves? How fast do we start off with? Well, you need to know your regular pace. You need to know your regular running pace. Alright, so if you haven't been running enough to find this out, you need to do a bit more practice. Once you know your regular running pace, let's say you are a 6 minutes per kilometer person, then you want to start about 30 seconds slower. So you should be running at about 6.5 minutes per kilometer in the first 5k or the 10k, depending on your race. As you go on, you gradually get faster and faster. In the second half of your race is when you hit your race pace, and this actually can go even faster if you're feeling fresh or if you have more energy in the last couple of kilometers. So that's what we want to do to try and achieve what we call a negative split. Now, a negative split just means the second half of the race is faster than the first half of the race, so there's a negative difference. This is very hard to do. Not many people can achieve it, but it's something that we strive to get so that we can conserve our energy and make sure that we finish strong. That is what we always want. It takes practice, so do practice, and then you will probably be able to gauge yourself much better. A good way to gauge your pace is by seeing how you can talk to somebody when you're running. If you can talk fluently, full sentences, that means this is kind of like your warm-up pace, and that's what you should be starting with. If you find it really difficult to talk, that is probably closer to your race pace, and once you hit your race pace, you shouldn't be able to talk. It should be full focus, almost breathless, and you should be able to finish your entire race like that. Okay, so that is roughly the kind of pace that you want to achieve. After that, everybody applied these things and we went for a run around the neighborhood, and everybody gave me some feedback. Some of them said by applying these techniques they changed the way they feel. Some of them said they don't have so much pain in their joints. Some of them actually said that they ran a little bit faster, so that's really good. I'm so glad that I managed to help these people out. So this is for the first one. That was all. Join us for the next session for more of these free tips. Thank you.